Welcome back to League Play week number 1, proudly supported by Macca's, where the Monopoly game at Macca's is back. 1 in 5 instantly win. Yummy Cheese Man and Wolfie joining us back on the desk. As we go into our next series, Squid Squad are going to have to do better than what we just saw there, Yummy.
They need to really step it up. They couldn't take down Avant Gaming, which for them was one must-win.
Yeah.
We're going into the next must-win for Scylla Esports, up against Legacy, who are one of their closest competitions to get to the finals.
It's a really important matchup. It's one of those things where it's the first week, sets the tone for all the rest of it. But it's one of those things, especially with getting into the top 4, is super duper important in this. So they really need to focus on their matches right now.
Yeah, look, it is week 1 of League Play, and I think that so far Scylla are going to have to really push forward through the coming weeks. However, Legacy, we haven't seen them just yet. From what we saw in qualifying, they came through as a very strong team, and they punished the opposition to make it into top 8.
They're incredibly fast. They take a lot of risks. They're really fun to watch.
Yep.
Because of that, they'll always be up for the ball and willing to make some crazy plays. But it's just whether they can really, really hammer it home on the day.
It is one of those things where you kind of always got to look out for the deadly duo, you know? You look out for the Plitz Soma plays, or you look out, you know, for the Dumbo Adzi plays, and it's one of those things where on the day, it's really specific on how they perform as a duo, and as well as within that 3-team dynamic to get the wins.
I mean, Scylla are going to be running that same roster, I assume, coming into this series with the subs. They didn't look too good in the last series. I think against Avant Gaming, we were expecting Avant to push through, but I didn't expect Scylla to be that kind of messy.
It's very difficult with Daisu coming in. It's a brand new roster by itself with Adzi as the new player on the team, but bringing in Daisu as well, they're not going to have that same level of synergy, so it is really tough for them coming
The team dynamic has completely changed from what we were seeing of the old Scylla. You know, this is the new Scylla, so they need to find their own playstyle and find the dynamic that works for them against these other top teams, because if they don't, they're not going to get the results that they need to make top 4 and even top 2.
I think it's going to be a rough, and Scylla are trying to, again, come in and get revenge on a lot of these teams and make it all the way to RLCS, and it might be getting further and further away from them if they lose to Legacy, where the Legacy are just trying to come in for their first time with a brand new roster.
That's right, and although Scylla in the past have gotten to that top 4 position, they've gotten to LAN and then gotten so close in those best of 7s, I think in this season there is more challenges than ever. Our top 6 is not defined just yet. We haven't seen Conspiracy or Noisy today. I believe at the end we will see Noisy's and Toxic coming through in one of the series.
We'll see all the teams.
Oh, that's the beauty of League Play Week 1. Thank you for doing everything.
You're welcome, Jake.
Now, just one
Do you
quick
want me
question.
to do predictions?
No, before we get into predictions, would you let that sink in? No, let's go.
Oh my God.
That's the last you'll ever hear of it. It's great. Trust me, when you're at a party,
We won't be back
use
next
that.
week, folks.
No, Korea's going to be right here. Scylla, was that enough to convince you last time that Scylla have a chance against Legacy, or do you think this is going to be a stomping?
Look, I think brutal honesty is what's needed here, and it's one of those things where, from what I've seen of Legacy, they're looking much, much stronger than from what we saw last game. Just because they didn't play, Scylla didn't play as consistently as they needed, so I'm just going to go with Legacy, and you know what? I'm going to give a safe bet of 3-1.
3-1 of Legacy. All right, Yummy, compare.
I think it's going to be a bit closer than a 3-1. Legacy coming through with their core roster is a huge advantage, and they're coming into this season hot, so I'm going to go with Legacy.
Yeah, look, I'm not really confident with Scylla Esports, but I still think Scylla Esports 3-0. If
Why? Tell us why.
Tell us
why.
why.
Why do you like Scylla Esports?
Because I know I've talked with the owner a little bit, and I once went to
you're
Malaysia.
biased.
I'm not biased.
Because they fly you to Malaysia.
No, they didn't fly me to Malaysia. I went to Malaysia, and the old infamous coach, now Scylla Esports owner, was there.
Oh.
That's
Old Subs.
suddenly
Old Subi.
convenient.
Suddenly convenient. Excuse me. Scylla Esports 3-0, not biased. Legacy Esports taking on Scylla. Here we go. Let's see if Scylla can recover from what that series was with Avant Gaming.
I think it's a definitely good chance here as Legacy Plitz already
good
going
start.
for those big, risky montage plays.
I mean, this is what we've seen from Legacy in the qualifying round. Scylla Esports have got a lot to deal with. Kira is actually back in for the Scylla Esports side. So that's, I mean, that could give a chance. It's a very different playstyle.
That's a big sign, and I expect to see a lot more passing coming out, as one of the things that they don't have with Daisu is passes, and they instead go for pressure.
Yep.
So this could be a big change. I might even need to change my prediction.
No, too late for that. I predicted Scylla. I feel happy now. Legacy Esports, however, are this big unknown factor coming through. When I say that, we know the players, we know the game, but there is so much they can do here. Very aggressive to start things off, and Legacy really taking control of this game.
Where's that early punch coming through from Plitz? They just need to warm up.
Yep.
And Scylla have the advantage of just being mechanically warm right now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, especially after the last series, which was so tough for them. Hoping they can bounce back, but there's an opening there for Legacy. Hits a crossbar. Soma to follow it through, and there we go. Off the backboard. That's the first shot for Legacy Esports, and getting it away from Scylla. Dumbo comes in very aggressively, but Legacy still, again, look like they're having the majority of control around this side.
They've had the majority of control. They've missed 3 opportunities that they've opened up on the net, and that's bad sign. That's also frustrating for the Legacy team, who are so wanting to go professional.
I think the Legacy side have proven their worth in the qualifying round. Now that they're into league play, this is their chance to go up against the other big teams. Zen, a player we have been highlighting in the past. As he comes off the air dribble, Soma will react to it when it hits the ground. Off the back wall, Plitz again. Big smackdown is what you asked for. We haven't seen it just yet from Legacy.
Legacy need to step up their game, but Scylla are starting to move in. They've just brought in Kira for this match.
Yep.
And they're going to have to take some time to figure out their rotations, which have changed from the last one.
It feels very different from when Daisu was in there. And like you said, big passes is what we want to see from Scylla Esports. And it looks like it is a little bit more controlled than when they versed a bunker.
Yeah, they know where each other are going to be, which has been the big difference compared to having Daisu on the pitch. And also not playing too aggressive. I expected someone up for the ball for that.
Well, Scylla Esports still holding their own for now, however, and Legacy Esports are continuing to push forward. But big clears coming out from both sides, and Dumbo, this could be his chance as he gets it over the top of Plitz, sets it up for Scylla. The ball is ready to be counteracted. Adzi on the side there, he's going to come off the wall, hits it down. Scylla Esports really getting some big shots, big opportunities in front of Legacy's net.
They've managed to feel each other out, and now Legacy are on the back foot. So they're not getting those passes we know that they do so well. That almost faked out Zen. Still an opportunity here for Scylla Esports, but the ball just cleared at the last moment.
Such a different side of Scylla Esports in game number 1. I mean, it could be the substitution. Scylla had an opportunity there. They probably should have found that goal.
Well, Zen just crunched out from the top corner. He came out of nowhere. And this is going to be a shot. It's going to go all the way. Plitz turns that around from the 1-2. Zen in defense. And then all the way back. Actually, a bit of a miss pass from Kira as well.
Yeah, but capitalized well by Plitz. And if we said anyone from Legacy was going to score that first goal, most likely going to be Plitz. Expectations have been met. And a late goal coming into game 1 could be all Legacy need.
And this is what you see from Legacy Esports. They're fast up to the ball. They take that risk. And he just beat out the Scylla offense.
Yep. Plitz misses the ball there, so Scylla regained control. Missing the ball, Soma hits it in front of goal. Scylla, that was their moment. They're not done just yet. They're going to redirect the ball and pass it around a little bit, trying to get the interpretation in front of this net. Dumbo setting the ball up once again. Kira's come through. Aggressive plays from Scylla Esports. 1 minute remaining. This is their chance to really take it back.
It's a long time that they spent just building up this game and figuring each other out. So this one goal might be enough for Legacy to actually get the lead in this series and plow through their league play start.
Like we saw in the qualifier, that one lead was massive for Legacy Esports. They found that drive. They pushed through the series. They could easily do so again. Soma, Zen, and Plitz have been a great team, and all of their plays have built up to this point in game number 1. 30 seconds, still holding that goal advantage, and Scylla, this could be their moment, but again, denied by Soma.
And off-season, we saw Legacy just lose out every single game 1. They're known for just spending that entire game 1 trying to figure out what's happening, and they just lose 5-1, 5-0. The fact that they're winning is a huge sign that they're going to be just smashing this series.
And with 5 seconds, Zen gets it past everyone. Nicely done.
Yep.
Just to shore things up for Legacy.
Scylla had to play that one fast, and Zen is one of the fastest players in OCE. Another keyboard player coming
like
through.
Highlighting the keyboard players.
Well, I'm a bit of a fan of keyboard players, Jake. I wonder why.
I'm a fan of keyboards. I just think they're really good to use on computers. What? Legacy Esports take game 1. And, I mean, the warm-up game from Legacy has turned into a very nice victory. 2-0. Legacy may be really improving over this off-season. They feel like they've come into Season 4 strong.
Look at that, too. 3 shots in total on the board. They had a lot more opportunities. There was 3 probably should have been shots and probably should have been goals right at the very beginning of that game. But they didn't make a lot of opportunities, but they made use of them. They made use of Scylla overcommitting as well, as they were trying to go for those big pressure plays.
So if game 1 is filling out your opponent, and that's still what felt like what Legacy did there.
Yeah.
Game 2, I'm expecting something really big from Legacy.
I'm worried that this might become a 3-0. If Legacy are doing that in game 1, then they're going to be able to carry that one forward. The big bonus that Scylla have right now is that Kira only just came in. He's not going to have been warmed up. They definitely wouldn't have been scrimming because the rest of his team was playing the last series. So there's a good chance that he's going to get better over the series, and he's a big one that controls the midfield.
Okay, so watching for Kira on the other side of Legacy, is it still the case of Plitz ready for him to be set up?
For sure. Plitz is the one. He's the one who had 3 opportunities and missed every single one. He even missed just the aerial completely in front of net. I was like, oh, here's the goal. No. So he's starting to hit those aerials, which is a big difference for Legacy.
Okay, well, jumping into game number 2, Legacy Esports lead 1-0. And already such an impressive start. Let's see if it was simply a warm-up game for Plitz, who gets it past 3 people. Maybe. Going through the air. He hasn't missed anything yet. He's actually had pretty much 100% possession of this game. Great start for Legacy Esports. They had their first shot, and things are looking good in game 2.
This is looking really good, and Legacy have been that team that have always failed to make it to the finals despite being close, being such a great team. This should be a goal. No! Just straight missed. But now, if they can make it to the finals, they have players like Soma who have got so much experience that they can potentially win that out. Adzi puts that one on the net.
So surprising goal to start things off, especially after Legacy Esports had that shot available to them. Scylla Esports.
That was such a good fake by Adzi.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that he just drove away from it a little bit. They had to shut off that shot. Wow. I'm impressed. Adzi's really showing up. He's the brand new player on the roster.
But when we talk, like in the qualifiers, we're talking about Adzi. We said that Adzi was really stepping up his game. Maybe a much better
that's
season.
expected as like a brand new player. He played a little bit better, but he's potentially playing as the best player on the squad at the moment.
On the Squid squad, yeah, absolutely. Scylla Esports leading with that goal is going to be a great start for them. Let's see how Legacy Esports respond. I mean, game 1 wasn't their strength. Could it be game 2? We're going to have to find out. Zen keeping it down the side of the field, but the clear comes through. Adzi setting the ball up. Great for Scylla Esports. Close shot coming through from Dumbo.
These are some fantastic pass plays coming too, and they're just undefendable by the Legacy Esports, who are great at intercepting the passes, normally shut them down.
Yep. So coming in again, Scylla Esports finding so much more possession down this side of the field. This is a great start to game number 2. Legacy don't seem to have a response just yet, but intercepting these passes, that's what they need to do. They haven't really done that yet, so shoring things up. Scylla Esports looking very comfortable.
We do see Legacy just trying to slow this ball down a little bit and get that one over. They need to recoup, and that's a good play by Zen.
Yep.
It's not going to come to fruition.
No, but Plitz will go down there and try and recover the ball. Following through with Soma. Zen is back in. It's going to be Adzi in front of goal, the star player himself. Adzi gets the ball over the top of Plitz, and Adzi has the ball once again. Scylla Esports setting up for some magnificent plays here. Still playing with time. The more shots on goal they have, the more Legacy Esports are pressured, and the slower and the longer they have to play with.
Legacy have been good at it, but Adzi just coming in. A huge dunk, and this is the front of goal play coming out from Adzi. He didn't even have boost. He didn't need boost. He saw the touch that Soma and Zen were going for, and he just outplayed them.
Did not expect that one coming through from Adzi, but then again, I didn't expect Adzi to be coming through for the Scylla squad, but there he is. 2-0 and Scylla, 2:30 remaining. Looking like they're going to take game number 2. Legacy, very different style from game number 1.
It looks really good when Adzi is pushed up, and compare him to last season where they had AOEM. It's the same situation. He's a fantastic player in front of the opponent's net, and it seems that Adzy's fulfilling the role really well.
Oh, Zen!
I thought that was going to be saved.
Just like I thought the goal with Adzy was going to be saved, but expectations are being met in this series, Cheeseman. It's 1-2, and Legacy Esports get themselves back on the board.
That was fantastic. Just right off the backboard, true blue Aussie shot.
A true blue. It wasn't a deep.
They're on the blue team, so.
Nice. And they've got a tree. I mean, that's close as close to Australia as you're going to get without putting a barbecue.
Australia has trees for sure.
Do we?
Yep.
Never been outside.
Scylla now 2-1 ahead, but Legacy, if they can take out this second game, it's going to be a huge showing for them, especially if they can cleanly take the Series 3 now.
But Scylla, they're pushing up, being very, very aggressive in this side of the field, and they're not really letting Legacy Esports touch the ball. Zen needs a big clear here, but he loses possession once again. Plitz is left in the line of defense, hits the ball down the center. Kira right back. Zen will pass it away, but Scylla Esports still regaining control. Kira, how does he play this ball? He dribbles it. He sets it up.
Oh my goodness.
Nicely done.
Snuff. How did he do this? Look at, sorry, Kira.
No. Go with Snuff.
No, Snuff. All the way along, dribbled it while staying on the wall, and it got it past the entire Legacy defense, opened the net, and it probably secured this game.
Definitely goes on to the montage right there. 3-1, Scylla Esports.
I've not seen that before. That's the first I've seen anybody just dribbling it along the wall over the goals, just hanging it on the side of his car.
Well, it's definitely going in the Hall of Fame then. Legacy, what can they respond with? Anything flashy like that? I'm not sure. Plitz is going to have to be the one to do it. Adzy gets the ball through him, and Zen is the last line of defense. Adzy taking the ball all the way. Just him. Scylla with another shot. That should secure game 2.
That's beautiful play. I love that they went for this pass play here. Just all the way across, and 4-1. We're definitely seeing a different Scylla Esports.
We're seeing a game 1 of Legacy right here, Cheeseman.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Legacy have switched it up, and this is their feeling out game for some reason, but you've really seen Kira step up massively in this game. You've seen Adzy really step up, and even Dumbo's getting involved with some great midfield play.
Soma and Legacy don't say die just yet. I mean, they're 3 goals down and have to pull out a miracle. It's like going to a magician show and you pull out your top hat, he pulls out his, and what do you find? You find a goal. It's still got 35 seconds.
You pull Plitz out of the hat.
Yeah, that's right. And instead of the rabbit, you're like, okay, this'll do.
I call this play the Abra and then the Kadabra right there.
What about the Alakazam? When does that come through? 2 goals later.
When it evolves.
When it evolves.
Something more.
Level 36 or something, isn't it? Oh, no, it's like 52.
Well, they have a chance to get them back now. They're 2 goals behind, but we've seen it. The 2 kickoff goals is an opportunity. It's going to be very difficult, though.
Yep, 30 seconds. I mean, I'd count 15 seconds per goal. Plitz is trying to give Legacy an opportunity. Zen sets it up to Soma. This could be great. Around the corner, Soma backs it through. Legacy disengaged by Scylla Esports.
That was clutched by Kira. He needed to make that. That's basically what's going to secure this game, to get that clear out when it didn't really feel like it should be. And that's what Kira's known for as well. The aerial 50-50s, just winning out these. Look at the dunk. He reads them so well. The fact that he got that towards net was a bonus.
I mean, there's a change in Scylla Esports. Kira's come back into the roster. We've seen the rise of Adzy in this game. Scylla will take it to a 1-1 in Legacy Esports. I don't think you can call this a feeling out game. I think Scylla have just stepped up.
Yeah, they definitely have. And just like we said after game 1, where we thought Legacy might just run away with this series, now it feels the complete reverse, and it's up to Legacy to adapt to this new Scylla playstyle and to put some more shots on. Again, only 4 for them.
You can see that Adzy, 3 goals, 3 shots. I mean, what a game from the attacker of Scylla Esports.
He got the hat-trick, but he just read the opponents. The first one was that big fake play coming out from the pass. The second one being that double dunk over the Legacy defense. And now Adzy's sort of propelling Scylla Esports into a much better position because the other 2 are doing really well on passes.
I mean, that works well because Kira's still kind of adapting to the team. You know, like you said, he hasn't warmed up. He's kind of pushing his way through. But as Kira gets better and better with each game, I mean, Adzy holding the line is fantastic. It's what you want from Scylla Esports. might actually change the predictions coming forward.
Well, what's really important for here is this is the first time in league play with these 3 players, with Kira, Adzi, and Dumbo. This is the first chance for them to prove themselves up against some of the big teams, the big 6 here, which we have from Legacy, coming in hot. And they're looking really good. These are good early signs of a brand new lineup doing really well that could propel them through to the finals.
It feels so much cleaner with Scylla Esports having Kira back in, just having that brick that, you know, obviously the player
they know where each other are.
That's right. Communication is much better. Where you saw with Daisu, it was kind of like,
it's a bit off with Daisu. He's
off.
a really good player.
He is.
But in terms of how the team play around him, it's definitely not the same at all.
No, Scylla start the kickoff strong in game number 3 and taking 1 apiece. I mean, Legacy looks so good. But now that Scylla have had the feel out, let's see how we go. There's a good passing play from Legacy. Soma gets bumped in the right direction.
He didn't have enough boost.
I mean, that's kind of a boost if you bump your own teammate. Let's see how they respond. Scylla struggling a little bit in front of their goal. Legacy all jump up for the ball. Miscommunication as Plitz uses his boost to get up. Wastes a bit of energy.
It's part of how you see Legacy being really aggressive and willing to take those risks, but it can just hamper their offense at the same time.
Yep. Well, Soma bringing it back, and Legacy now trying to push up again, and we have to see in game number 3, I mean, to take down Legacy Esports. This could really sit nicely. Adzi, that's what we're expecting.
That was a great shot by Adzi, but have a look at the front with Dumbo just chasing Plitz. He bumps him once, gets him into the worst position imaginable, and Plitz could not recover in time.
Scylla, look at this. Game number 3. Adzi has stepped up, my lord. A guy that I'm pretty sure in the off-season I was talking up. I said, Adzi is looking pretty good, but maybe not.
What?
That was stupid good.
Look at this read by Zen. He jumps up before it even hits the corner.
What?
And, like the Scylla defense, they were forced to get up early as hell, and of course they missed it, because who would hit that? But Zen just slams that?
What a great read.
Zen.
Good, that's Legacy
He's
Esports.
only 15. He's on a keyboard.
What do the keyboard players do? What are you feeding them, Yummy?
Feeding them keyboard parts, so like the little buttons.
WASD, is that
Yeah.
it? Good. Well, I think that you should be continuing to feed them whatever it is, because Legacy Esports have just put themselves back into this game. Scylla found an early goal. Legacy now control the pace just that bit extra. And let's see how much more pressure they can put on, because Scylla Esports have been switching on in games 2 and 3. And this could be big. Taking down Legacy in league play would put Scylla back to a 1-1.
Yeah, back. It's so important for both teams. Legacy really need to take down Scylla. Same with in reverse.
Yep.
It just must be so hard to predict what Legacy are doing. They get themselves in situations like that, always willing to receive or send a pass.
Yeah, I feel like we're really watching Plitz here in game number 3 to be the leader. Zen gets a predicting goal, but it has always been Plitz. And here we go. Soma getting me wrong again. Takes a shot. Kira's there. Maybe it is Plitz. Yes, it is. Yummy. There we go. Number 2.
I don't even know what to say.
Say Plitz.
Just Plitz getting up to this one. It's again off the wall. You can see all of Scylla in a point where they have to scramble because Legacy have held that attack for just long enough.
And look at this. I mean, honestly, just when you think that Scylla have pretty much pushed through, our expectations are changed again by a Legacy finding these gaps in Scylla's defense.
There's a few gaps in Scylla's defense, and that happens in defensive rotations for a brand new trio.
Yep.
And they've been holding it on with great defensive passing instead. But if you're Legacy, you're able to get these big slammers that take advantage of it.
Scylla Esports bringing it back on down. Plitz gets the challenge
it's
going
2v1.
through. He's taking it forward. Ball doesn't get cleared. Do Legacy commit to this? It looks like Zen will just wait for the ball, but Dumbo outplays. Soma's next. Dumbo still going. Adzi over to the corner. Kira's waiting back at this center field. He's boosting up. He wants to drop the ball in. The old slam dunk. The classic. The wombo combo. Scylla Esports. They need this next goal because Legacy will push this advantage. And they're looking good to take game 3.
There's still 2 minutes left in the game. Both teams should be playing this standard. And if anyone starts panicking, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah. Right now from Scylla Esports, maybe in the defense would be panicking.
Yeah, you even see right then, 2 people up on the ball, both pulled out at the same time.
Yep.
It was just a good thing that the ball wasn't heading towards the net.
Oh, no. God, close. Legacy are kind of switching on here, I feel like.
They're putting on a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
They're just taking those big jumps all the way from the halfway pitch, and it's forcing Scylla to be in just odd situations in defense.
So if Scylla Esports drop this game, things are going to look pretty grim. Legacy Esports coming out of the bats rolling. Well, let's say gates. I like gates. I don't know what bats are. Coming out of the bats. Legacy, this is an interesting pass. Soma recovers it, so I guess Mind Games.
Open net.
Zen is waiting there. Good setup. Nicely rolled in from Blitz.
Blitz just came out of nowhere. There's so much trust there to actually say, yes, Zen is going to get this pass across to me. And that finishes this one off. Legacy Esports gets a 2-goal lead.
I just honestly, with Scylla and Legacy, it feels like they're quite evenly matched. One game goes over to the side of Legacy, the other to Scylla Esports. Back and forth like a game of ping pong. Wouldn't be too surprised if we go to all 5 games here, Yummy, but Legacy do seem like they have control in game 3. 40 seconds remaining. I think this could be it for Scylla. Taking that 1-game advantage could mean that Legacy try and close this one out.
Part of it's due to the risks that both of these teams love taking. It makes it really exciting to watch, but it does also mean that games just run away from one of the teams early on.
Yeah.
As Legacy are in commanding position at the end of this game, but we know in the past of this series that Scylla can quickly turn it around.
That's right. I mean, wouldn't count themselves out, but at least for this game, Legacy have pushed on through and found the weaknesses of Scylla and a really good play style that has been adapted. Scylla Esports will find one more goal, but with 1 second remaining, it will not be enough.
It would be a miracle if they got this one, or a mistake from Legacy.
I like miracle. Call it a miracle.
A mirror stake.
Mirror stake. I thought it took 2 seconds to get a goal off kickoff.
Yeah, but it's the end of the round, so it doesn't do anything until the ball hits the ground. So, see how there's an opportunity, but Legacy Esports take that one out. They've taken the lead in this series. They're looking strong coming into this season, and it's great to see a fast early start from them.
So is Kira coming back into the Scylla roster? I mean, this changed up the playstyle completely, but in this game, are they still not adapting well to their
Legacy really adapted that series. They just shut down Scylla a lot on all of their midfield opportunities. Scylla did get a few, dunks up in that offensive half, but I think we saw like 2 shots come out from Scylla, and they are a pressure-based team.
Yeah.
They're the kind of team you want to see get 15 shots in a game, and maybe that leads to 2 or 3 goals just because the opponents eventually crack.
I think like teams, when you compare these teams to teams like Avant Gaming, maybe Chiefs and Jam, they don't feel like they sit, that close at the moment. I mean, it is the start of league play. We have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We have such a big occasion coming forward with the PAX LAN finals. There's so much on the line. And the prize pool, $25,000 US. Each position matters. Even if you don't make in that top 4, it's more money, it's more work you can put towards your career in Rocket League.
Well, 5th place almost doubles the amount that you get from 8th place. All of these teams have earned a great position here, but this week is the first week of league play. This is where teams separate themselves out and show you guys just how good they are.
Teams like Chiefs have already done that. Scylla Esports taking a loss in the series before was not what they wanted, and they're trying to bring it back here. But they have to win 2 series in a row, where Legacy could be starting league play week 1 off so strong. But first, they have to take this game, and anything's possible with the way Scylla are playing.
Scylla are playing really well. They've got those passes going. They're in the situation now where if they can't win this one, it's a worry, but I think they've got a great shot in this game.
Legacy Esports, however, keeping it down this side of the field is exactly what they want to end this game. They're going to have to get a couple of goals, make sure Scylla can't surprise them and throw them under the bus. Blitz has been someone we've been watching. We see a quick demolition from Dumbo. It doesn't open up the defense. And Zen, here we go, dribbling the ball all by his lonesome. Will get it stolen away and clears back and forth. Scylla Esports still trying to push forward and crumble Legacy.
That's what Dumbo's been really good at as well, to shutting down those plays, especially the ones coming out from Zen. This is leading them to actually get an attack. This is a much better start for Scylla.
Soma hits the ball before he gets demoed. Zen responds and kills Dumbo. I mean, honestly, gruesome stuff so far. A lot of demolitions coming through. A lot of aggressive plays. Legacy will now try and push the ladder with Zen setting up for a shot. Scylla under pressure, but you can always rely on Adzi to get those big clears.
Adzi's getting some big clears. Dumbo as well, and of course we know that Kira is great at those 50-50s. It's where the midfield dominance is coming in, but at the moment they don't have that. Legacy are on the attack.
Yep, and they're not letting the ball get out of this half. I mean, they are really pushing the limit. Nice touch! And the setup from Legacy, great as always.
Scylla just didn't have enough boost to get this out. They didn't have the positioning. And of course, Plitz getting that pass, it was a difficult one to make, but he is good enough to get them.
Look at Legacy Esports starting off Game 4 strong. They could just take this series 3-1. 3 minutes remaining, and already you can see that Scylla are really struggling here. Look at Legacy playing with fire. There's an opening for Soma as it hits the backboard. Zen misses the touch, but really it's about continuing on that attack.
They're just coming out of nowhere over and over again. Dumbo!
Oh! That was a big goal, Yummy.
Just plays it alone all the way. The 50-50, he had no boost until this point. And just that angle above, undefendable.
And Scylla Esports put themselves back on the board with Dumbo's big solo play. Great work from the attacker of Scylla Esports.
We talked about Adzi, we talked about Kira, now it's Dumbo. That's the first time we've really seen him step up, and he is the captain of this team, so we expect that coming out from him in these
that
big
leadership,
moments.
so important there, Yummy Cheese, man. Scylla Esports have just equalized this game, but 2 minutes 30 remaining, and Legacy Esports have just pushed back into the goal line of Scylla. Plitz is here, misses the touch, responded by Soma. Legacy are really pushing up the tempo of this game.
They just want to get this 1-goal lead. They don't care about how many goals they get. They're going to just stay aggressive the entire time. That's their play style.
Legacy setting up again, and you talk about aggression, and here we go. They're going to have to pass back. Plitz, does he miss the ball? Yes, hits the corner. Zed pops it out so that Scylla don't have any openings. Will the 1 goal be enough? I mean, at this moment, I don't think so. Scylla Esports.
So many demos coming out from Legacy as well. Won't anybody think of the Squidlings?
No one thinks that, no one cares about the Squidlings. 1-1. Like I said, that 1 goal from either side, of course, is not going to be enough. It's going to go into overtime at this rate, but Legacy Esports are starting to fall under the pressure of Scylla. They're finding some openings, they're finding some shots. One line of defense has its weakness. Scylla Esports right now getting these intercepts, very, very crucial.
Plitz has been very good at getting these boost pads, and Legacy just getting enough of these little touches, but they're good at just saving, but they're not going to achieve a clear.
Plitz, good accuracy on this ball. Adzi to set up for Kira, but the
no
clear
boost
again. So let's see if they can really relinquish this ball again. Legacy Esports are pushing forward. Off the wall, Plitz. Oh, that was his moment. But Scylla try to lob the ball through, and we've got 45 seconds to play with, Yummy. I feel like we could be going to overtime.
I think we've got overtime for sure, Hysterics, unless right now
it's a lie.
Scylla, that's not the pressure play, that's just a big play from them.
That's right. Was this a mistake coming through, or was Scylla keep on coming through? 30 seconds, and we're completing our expectations here. Legacy could just take this to overtime, or maybe not. Zen is hanging around in the midfield. He wants this big shot. Scylla have to defend this for the next 15 minutes because this is 15 seconds. Sorry. Nice touch. Great save as well from Kira.
I don't think it's going to lead to anything as we are counting down into overtime. Legacy with some huge opportunities, but that doesn't matter. How did that demo come through?
Doesn't matter.
We have overtime. This is where the big test comes. Who plays best under pressure?
I mean, in the past, I feel like it has been Legacy. I feel like Legacy have always pushed through, but against Scylla Esports, this is not a qualifying team. This is a top 8 team in OCE. How do they go up against Legacy? We're about to find out.
Some good passes coming through and doesn't hold forward, but Legacy Esports have the opportunities, and even Zen going for some big plays off the roof.
Touch the two-man pass play. They push up, and Scylla Esports trying to follow through in front of goal. Plitz controlling the ball for long enough, but they're going to leave the ball for Dumbo. Soma's in front of that net. He intercepts and he challenges the ball. After getting it away, though, Kira steps in, and an opportunity for Scylla Esports with an opening going to Adzi.
That big boost start from Scylla, you can see why it works. Legacy so hungry for boost, and Adzi just comes up quicker than you can talk. Hysterics.
I mean, I can talk pretty quick, but yeah, that was 40 seconds.
Got game 5.
We got game 5,
and when
baby.
they're in overtime, the two teams are so close right now, but we know that they're close in the standings and how we feel that they'll go towards the finals. And in some way, it's a must-win for both of these teams, and they're going to game 5.
I think it's definitely must-win for Scylla here. I mean, especially because Scylla losing out in such a convincing fashion against Avant Gaming, they need to show that they're still in that top 6 because we have the undisputed question marks of Noises and Toxic, of Conspiracy Esports. If Scylla lose 0-2 in the first week, then we could be overtaken by our mystery teams.
Boy, that would be really hard for Scylla, because if they lose this, they have to beat Chiefs or Jam or Pale Horse.
Which is a harder task, right?
Which is really difficult right now. Those three teams have been just clear favorites in the scene. They've been taking down so many players and teams on their way to the top. It's doable for Scylla, and they're definitely a team that are going to grow, but you always need to get off to a good start.
We have seen growth in this series, however. I think it's fair to say we've seen growth in this series.
Both teams.
Legacy.
You're going to argue this with me?
No. No, I'm just going to give you. I'm going to give you some more information. It's all right. As we do jump into game 5, I mean, Legacy have shown some big plays here, but Scylla just fire right back, and similarities in this team. We can see it here in this series, and into game 5, let's see who comes out as the stronger team.
It's going to be a big question, as both of these teams incredibly capable, and both of these teams so close right now.
It's a nice touch coming through from Zen to set it up for Plitz. A demolition will slow down Scylla Esports, but as long as Zen can find the bounce of this ball, if Scylla followed through, that could have been potentially the first goal, but 30 seconds have passed, and Legacy straight away feeling the wrath of Scylla.
Scylla just stolen all the boost once again. Legacy Esports are all at 0, and only one Plitz is the one remaining with any boost.
Yep, so how do they recover from this? I mean, they get big clears like that, and Zen, that'll mean the boost will respawn, and we've got Legacy back into the swing of things. They go through. Soma misses the ball. Plitz jumps up and will send it right back down, with Soma going back into defense.
This is an opportunity. That's a good 50-50.
Plitz, always the one to score. Always the one we have to watch out for.
You always have to watch out for Plitz. He does some crazy things. Zen as well. Soma being the more conventional player over for Legacy is likely to get just solid passes and goals.
I mean, Scylla, they're just playing this ball a lot smarter, it feels like, in game number 5. These setups are beautiful. Zen lucky in defense. We're still seeing Legacy Esports holding true to their strengths. But right now, a part of their strength relies on Plitz. And Legacy, this could be an opening if Scylla managed to execute. Getting some really close plays here.
That was a big play. The shot was just wide, but that's because he was trying to build enough power to get it past that defense.
Legacy Esports still in that exact defense. Plitz with a nice touch will go over to Zen, but the ball bounces back over to Soma, to Zen again, who gets a very nice touch on the ball.
That pop was really crucial, again, to build boost. For Legacy Esports, this is the game of just, can we get enough boost?
And 2 minutes have passed. I mean, it's all been about boost management. Like you said, it's also been about these shots. Great save from Zen. We'll actually lob it up. I'm not sure Soma would have had that ball.
I don't think so either. Zen coming in clutch just out of nowhere once again. But this time in defense. He's normally just crazy in offense.
Soma will meet with Kira. Plitz comes through. It's going to be Adzi there as well. A 2-on-2. Ball gets past. Legacy finding control, but not before Kira can lock it up. Zen there, setting it up off the backboard. Almost lobs it in himself, and Legacy finally getting their push forward, but responded by Scylla, who seemed to have the correct answer. And against Legacy, an opening.
Oh my goodness, Zen! Where were you? He comes just off the backboard and gets that save and keeps it to a 0-goal game. They really want to win this.
That's the second time Zen has stepped up in this game, and in Game 5, so important. The highlight of this player cannot be understated. Soma will receive the ball, and we've still got Legacy getting pushed into defense.
I questioned, who is best under pressure? Well, Legacy Esports have been under pressure, not just because it's Game 5, but just because they're up against Scylla the entire game, and they're still dealing with it. No! Dumbo through from the side. They just come out of these angles. They just throw past, and Plitz not handling the pressure.
Weren't we just talking about pressure? Scylla Esports come through, opening Legacy Esports, drop 1 with 1:40 remaining. And if Game 5 is taken by Scylla, I tell you what, this would be the hero story that the Squid Squad need.
What a comeback after losing Game 1 against Legacy. That doesn't happen. Adzi.
Now it might.
Well, they've a minute and a half for Legacy Esports. It's not all panic stations yet, but Scylla are looking good. They've held the pressure most of this game.
That was nice from Adzi as well. A lot of control on the ball from Scylla Esports in this series. We can see the comparison going against Avant Gaming. That change-up of Kira, the communication channels are back. But Legacy Esports, they're down, they're not out in this series. They've got 1:20.
Scylla are winning most of the 50-50s in the midfield, and it's just making the game so much easier for them to keep forward pressure going on.
2 goals is manageable, only if Legacy can keep up, well, at least improve their possession. But 3 goals, if Scylla score that, this series will most definitely go over.
Yeah, I think this is getting tougher and tougher.
Oh.
That one went in. I thought the defender was there, but Soma, the slow pop, gets it past.
58 seconds, Yummy. 1 goal. Soma kind of outplays Kira there.
Yeah, if he slammed that one, Kira had the save.
Yep.
Kira had to rush in on that one, and Soma takes it slow. And that wins it out. Same as what we saw from Adzi earlier.
Speaking of the devil, Adzi. Oh my god, no way. Scylla just need this next goal. This will make sure Game 5 is theirs. But you cannot count Legacy Esports out. 1 more goal. 45 seconds in Game 5. Things are looking dire. But then Scylla come through and they say enough is enough.
Bang! Just absolute, what a banger here. Adzi across to Dumbo. 123 kilometers per hour is just at the absolute limit of speed that people can hit the ball.
That's illegal, Yummy. I mean, you get caught doing that, that's demerit points and a fine.
On the highway, you might just lose your license completely.
In a school zone, man, you're going downhill. You're going to jail. 2 goals. And Yummy frowning with 30 seconds remaining. Maybe because Legacy Esports were his favorite. Maybe because Hysterix is going to get a prediction right.
Esports.
Well, I predicted Scylla, and I'm feeling pretty good.
I think this is great for the competition to see these 2 teams come so close to just like a hard-fought battle going one way, and now that means that both of these teams are still in it.
That's right. Legacy Esports will have other opportunities, but Scylla Esports, this was the series they needed to win. This was the opportunity for them to make it 1 apiece, and they do so convincingly at the end of the day. Much better execution coming through and impressive stuff from the side of Scylla.
Scylla Esports, every single game just got better and better to the point where we even saw Dumbo step up right at the end because he was quiet early on.
Yeah, but coming through, I mean, games 3 and 4 was a bit of a Dumbo momentum, but I feel like, yes, momentum.
A Dumbo momentum?
It was
Analyst Wolfie, what do you have to say about that match?
Look, I honestly think that it was Scylla coming into their own. They found the, as Jake loves to say, the momentum that they needed.
Oh, yep.
But which is more along the lines of the synergy between the players. They had their core roster again, and they were able to do what they wanted to do, which was spread out a bit, be able to cover all aspects of the pitch. The defense, the clearing to the sides, and also those really good midfield passes, which end up being goal-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, eventually we just saw Kira really shutting down every single attack that would happen. Even in the offense, he gets those big dunks, and he's just put Scylla in such an advantageous position after they lost to Avant Gaming. The fact that they could come back is huge. That's a real big mental game for that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It was one of those things, though, where, they were down 2-1. They were looking at it like, look, we just lost the series before. This isn't looking good. But they still had the mental capability of keeping it up, keeping it light, keeping it fresh. And the gameplay really respected that and followed that.
Keeping it fresh.
But, yeah, I mean, like, Legacy kept it fresh. And that was probably the closest series we've seen so far. Legacy showed adaptation in that series, but at the end of the day, I think Scylla just became too powerful.
They adapted, but they didn't. They crumbled under pressure. We saw them double committing regularly in that last game. They were just going out of nowhere. They were just trying to be too crazy. And usually it's in those situations you want to just go standard.
I think it was a lot about nerves as well. Like, it's the first week of league play. It's very, very important, this big tournament, RLCS, initiative coming in. And then, they're thinking to themselves, we got to win. We got to win. We got to win. And they're not focusing on the now in the gameplay. They're focusing on the future. They need to step back, maybe do some replay analysis, have a look at what they're doing wrong, which is a lot of the double committing. And the thing is as well is that they'd make a mistake and they'd get absolutely punished for it. And this is what the better teams do.
Exactly right, but at the end of the day, it does mean, look, it is week 1 of league play, so we have a lot more opportunities to see these teams in action. We are going to go to a quick break, but when we return, more league play action for OCE will be coming up.